everyone, welcome. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Smart Water Wednesdays. We have with us Alex Chavez. If you have been to the HydroPoint website, you've seen Alex's face featured as a water hero. He maintains some very high-profile properties in Southern California.
And in Southern California.
Oh,
in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area, sorry.
Sorry.
That's all good. Keep me honest. I thought anyway. So Alex is works for BrightView and is one of their leading water managers. Has been working on water management projects for many moons, and is going to help us talk about simplifying the process of getting all of your WeatherTRAKs in line for what is an ever-changing landscape of drought response and compliance issues, right? So we talked, let me get out of here. Alex, thank you for joining us today. It's such an honor to have you. I am so happy to see your face. It's been a bit since we got to catch up.
Yeah, happy to be here.
We are going to talk today about some of the tools that WeatherTRAK has to help water managers like yourself make a lot of changes very quickly, because what we're seeing is drought that is unprecedented, right? The big drought that's happening in the West and crazy weather that's happening all over is facilitating drought restrictions and water restrictions, asking water managers to abide by different rules really in every water district. And for a guy like you that manages properties in many different areas, that can be a challenge. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about some of the tools that WeatherTRAK provides to make that easy for you.
Indeed.
So let's get started with a demonstration, quick demonstration. So, got to share my screen again. What we are talking about, if you joined us at the beginning of the month, we've been doing drought conversations for most of the month of June. And we are going to talk about creating a water reduction plan. And this is something that Alex and I were talking about in the pre-show. But WeatherTRAK has some great and often overlooked tools that help create a water management plan or water reduction plan and provide transparency from the water manager to the end user and to the customer. And so I'm going to jump right into that first and foremost. And then we're going to follow that up talking about some of the nerdy WeatherTRAK features that help us make changes very quickly and efficient management of those systems. Oh, I did not mean to start with the face of Donald Trump. I meant to start on this. So we are going to jump into my demo account, which has just sales demo controllers. But on weathertrak.net, if you go in here, we have this tab called Compliance Monitor. And under the Compliance Monitor, we have this Site Compliance tool. And if I click on that Site Compliance tool, this is a page designed to show all of the rules and regulations that a site has to abide by. And again, that's an ever-changing landscape. That's something that's constantly in flux based on kind of where we're at in the water conversation. You can see here at my house, anything east of the mountains is doing all right on this scary drought map. But as soon as you get to the other side of the Rockies, this is basically the Continental Divide, and anything west of the Continental Divide is just lit up like a Christmas tree. And so this tool helps us really see the need for these kinds of restrictions. Now let's jump over to a California site where
you. Oh, there you go. Yep.
where you can see Alex's backyard now and see the need that Alex has for these types of tools. Do you ever show your customers the drought map, Alex?
Yeah, so we actually just presented to Cushman and Wakefield about, gave them a drought briefing and let them know where we're at, where we're headed, what we think is coming from municipalities, and what we're trying to do, how WeatherTRAK is going to help us do that. So we're in a conversation about how we can further leverage our platforms to hit those savings. But for those that don't know, the Bay Area is that little bow tie right there in the middle of the state, and as you can see, there is no water here. Not from rain and not enough. So and it's been unreasonably windy every day for at least the past month, if not the past couple months. So we're really seeing some super high ETs.
Yeah, and if you follow this drought map, you know that it used to top out at extreme drought, and now it's got an extra category called exceptional drought, which is what we're seeing a whole lot of the Bay Area and Southern California
I feel
experience.
like that's kind of misleading. Exceptional sounds good.
Exceptional sounds good on the improve. Some
But
of your drought issues are caused by storage, right? You had the reservoir shut down because of earthquake issues or something. So
one
it's
of the
not all
reservoirs,
just drought.
yeah, one of the Oroville reservoir was shut down for a while because of a crack in the spillway. And also, I think one thing that's become a topic is that groundwater aquifers are also getting depleted. And once they get depleted, if they get filled in with soil, or if the water doesn't stay in there, they don't retain their size. So we're losing groundwater storage as well, which means everyone just has to get a lot more efficient with the water.
Everybody's got to be more and more careful, right?
Really.
So when we're talking about this site compliance page that WeatherTRAK provides, it is really designed to help a guy like Alex communicate to his customers, show that all of the challenges that he is faced with in managing the landscape and managing the water for them. And so it starts with this nice little drought map. We also have a tie to the water district. Alex told me that Santa Clara Valley was his home water district, or what he considered his own backyard. So we are going to use that as the example. But you can see here, they're in stage 3 of 3 of the water response. And we've tied this feed to their water page, to their restrictions page, so we can see exactly what they're trying to boast. Now, did you have something, Alex, on that?
Nope.
Okay. One thing I do want to emphasize is that this is not constantly monitored. We have done our best to tie the right page onto this compliance tool. But if you as a user, you as a water manager, notice that the information here is dated, all we need to do is go this change button right here. Allows you first to select what water district you're looking for, right? And make sure that we're applying the right information for the conversation that you want to have. But also, if you notice that any of the information is incorrect, we have this link to let us know that we need to update it, right? We have a team of folks that are in charge of keeping this stuff current, and we do a lot of this proactively, but by no means can we do that for every water district across the country. So if you see information that's dated or missing, or you don't see your own water district in here, just let us know. Just click on that, let us know, and it will send the right information to the right person. It'll ask you just to fill out the information here and keep us posted about the updates that you need to happen to this page so that you can effectively have this conversation.
I have a question about this. I know we can use, and you're probably going to get to it, how we can cross-check days of the week programming with this tool. Can we also input the time of day restrictions and use that?
It is a midnight to midnight restrict, or yeah, absolutely. So depending on how your restrictions lay out, let me show you that. So we're going to jump down here to the bottom of the page where you can program in your site compliance. And move this guy so I can edit this. this tool right here is very novel. You can go in and apply your water restrictions, and then there's a report that you can pull that will tell you any of the controllers that you have that may leave you subject to fines and penalties by watering at the wrong times or on the wrong days, right? So it's not just a day restriction, but a time restriction, and this is super cool and easy to use. So if you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday restriction, you can water anytime during Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can use these sidebars to make it easy to put in those restrictions, right? First, you start with the days that you're allowed, turn on those days, and then you go through and change the time. So here in Denver, I can water between 6 and 10. So I'm good up until 10 a.m., but after 10 a.m., I need to have my water off. So I go in here and program in the days of the week and hours in the day that I'm allowed to irrigate. And then I can pull a report that will show me, let me go there, see if I can do this off the top of my head. I should have refreshed my brain on this. The reports, I go over here, and the Drought Manager status account status report shows me, I think this is it. Nope, that's not it. Sorry. The other one. Go here to the Drought Manager site report. And this will tell me which stations. Alex, I failed. It is not that report either. It is.
Thought it was gonna be easy.
I thought it was going to be easy. I knew it was.
No, I came on here to push you. So
yeah, here it is. Water window compliance report. There we go.
I was looking for compliance. That's what I thought.
You can come in here and just pull that compliance report, and it will tell you which sites you have that are outside of your compliance.
That's really helpful.
So it is really, really helpful to be able to just pull that information very quickly and see all of the sites that you need to manage, right? It doesn't change anything for you, but it does highlight those sites that are leaving you out to dry for penalties.
Yep.
And then the last thing I want to highlight on this tool is really what I think Alex would be best served by, and that is this drought stage plan. This page gives you an area to take a drought management plan step by step with your customer proactively, right? Because we see changes coming. We know that this is a changing road, but you can come in here and sit down with your customer and say, all right, here we are. This is the reality. We are in this drought and going to need to get ready for what might become extreme or exceptional restrictions. So here you come in and you can edit this. You can say on stage 1, I'm going to reduce by 15%, right? This is what Alex is doing. This is a not optional, but what did you call it, Alex? It's
voluntary. At this time, it's voluntary.
Voluntary plan, right?
But we're treating it as though it's mandatory because
right. So you go in and say, for our first step, we're going to abide by that voluntary action. But what we see coming down the pipe is it might become mandatory and it might become more extreme. It might go from 15% to 20% or 25%, right? And so here's my plan for 15%. Here's what I'm going to do as your water management provider. We're going to, whatever it is, make adjustments to the programming or whatever choices that you make. But the important part of the conversation is, here is the cost to the landscape health, right? Here is what that drought response plan might look like. And you need to be ready, Mr. Customer, for whatever comes with that. And we just need to be transparent up front about what that looks like. Do you have those conversations, Alex?
Oh, definitely. The kind of things we're looking at immediately are where can we convert to drip? Is there any turf that we can remove? For sure, pressure regulated heads and check valves has been a thing that we've been on for years now. So I think we have very few unregulated heads, but even further than that, going to MP rotators is another one that can save us a lot of money, or rotary nozzles. And then frankly, just using WeatherTRAK to dial down and find out, for our drought sustainable landscapes that we've installed, can we really get creative with the watering, deep root water, and find out if we can stretch out those watering intervals and keep more of that water under the soil for a longer time. So we're absolutely having that conversation with all of our clients, and a lot of them are happy to hear that. They definitely are thirsty, to use the appropriate metaphor, for that information right now. And I think it gives people a sense of confidence that we can get through this. But really, without the technology in place, you'd be in a tough spot right now. You're behind the game if you're still using an old controller that you have to go program by hand.
Right. And last but not least, we have this notes field, which is an important part of it, right? Because we're using this as the resource for the conversation. Once we lay out the plan, we give the step by step, but then as management is happening, as the actual act of getting this plan executed is going on, we give you a place to go in here and just be clear and transparent about the actions that you are executing, right? Your customer can log in and leave notes. You can log in and leave notes. Just make sure that we have a repository for the entire conversation that surrounds the restrictions.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Now let's jump out of, I didn't mean to jump all the way out, but jump out of the WeatherTRAK.net land and go back to the PowerPoint. If you joined us I think 3 weeks ago, I had my friend Chad Mosier from Las Vegas on, and we talked about the most common watering restrictions, the things that we see in Denver, in Vegas, different than what Alex is facing. But the most common watering restrictions that I see anywhere in the country are those that ask for restrictions to when we water, right? In Vegas, they're saying any day but Sunday, but they're giving you very specific times and days that you are allowed to irrigate. And so these start times and water windows we went into in that episode. So if you want kind of the details of what that means, you can check that out. But what we want to show you today is some tools that WeatherTRAK has that will allow a professional water manager like Alex to make large changes very quickly because that's kind of the sign of the times. And so if you manage a lot of WeatherTRAK like Alex does, and you're asked to make programming changes, you're asked to make sure that all of a sudden all of my controllers need to only water on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have this great program grouping tool on the Compliance Monitor tab that allows you to go in and make very large changes to the program settings, to the start times, the water windows, and the water days for any programs on any of the WeatherTRAKs that you manage. And so I'm going to walk you step by step through that process. So first we wanted to create a new station group, right? Or create a new program group, sorry. And so I hit that create new group. And the first thing that this asks us to do is identify what controllers we want in this group. Just in lockstep with our conversation, every one of Alex's sites is in a different water district and has different restrictions. So I would start by selecting the controllers or sites that are in whatever water district I am working on right now. right? So if these 4 sites are the ones that have announced that we need to go to Monday, Wednesday, Friday restrictions, I select just those 4 sites. And when I hit next, oh, wait, before I do that, notice that there are filtering tools that can make this easy. If you have a pro tip, if you have a lot of controllers, these filtering tools are absolutely an essential in making this easy. So you can go in and
do a lot of clicking.
Yeah, it save you a ton of clicking by just filtering by account. If you've got all your, I don't know, whatever it is, your city of XYZ controllers in this account along with other ones, you can use these filtering tools to make it easy to establish the list that you're looking for. Also, another pro tip, using the naming convention properly, if you create a naming convention that makes this easier, it can save you a ton of time. So I do see some of my savvy contractors going in and naming their sites or controllers with some sort of marker that allows them to use these search and sort features very effectively. So we first choose the sites, and when we pull up those sites, this gives us a list of all of the programs on those controllers. So now I see, if I go down here, you can see that this Pro 3 Atlanta, Georgia demo has programs A through H. And then it goes to the next controller, right? So this is all of the controllers that I just selected, spelled out program by program. And here again, we're asked to refine this list. So we don't have to make the changes to all of the programs. If I wanted to just, if I had, for example, programmed all of my controllers with the turf on program A, I could just come in here and say, sort by program A, and this would just bring up all of the program A on every one of those controllers, right? So you can use these search and sort features very effectively to find what you're looking for. If you've called them all by name, if you've put them all on different programs, but named each one of those programs with the word turf in it, right? I can come in here and sort by program name. So another way that you could use that naming convention to save some time. Once I have selected, let's say, now this is 2 isn't enough for what we're trying to do. So let's say I want to do it for all of these programs. I want to make sure that all of these programs only run on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have created this list, and we're going to call it new restrictions. Sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time. Go in and select, name the group and create the group. Identify all of the programs that you want in this group. And once you have done that, we save that group. Oh, let's say Alex's group. I must have that name already. So we'll save that. All right, once I have saved that as a group, now I can manage that group as a whole section, right? So I've got all of those programs in here in that group, and I can go in and give all of the programs identified in this group the same start time or same water window, or in our example, what we're trying to do is give them all the same water day mode, right? So we're not talking about times in this example. We're only talking about a Monday, Wednesday, Friday restriction. So I go into water day mode, I select days of the week, and then I select the days that I can allow for irrigation. Say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I set that. And then if I hit this button, I will update all 24 programs at the same time. So this is something that can make very large changes very quickly, right? We can go through and go ahead.
I myself thinking about, I think at the height of I've moved into different roles with BrightView over the years, but at the height of things, my team and I were managing something like 240 timers. So to go in and change the water days on all of those controllers is hours of work. It may be a full day of work for one person. The fact that you can do it like that is incredible.
Right. Let's start without that. Like, if you don't have WeatherTRAK, think of
Oh, that's
going
with
to
WeatherTRAK, exactly.
like
If
that's
you
a
if you were sending irrigation techs to all of those sites, I mean, you're talking about several days of work for one person, or just the man hours involved are extreme.
but even with WeatherTRAK, even if you're going just controller to controller, sitting at your computer and
Yeah.
going into each program and changing each start time, that is still just an enormous amount of work
Yes.
that this can definitely save you. So that
It's,
program grouping tool is one that I think is often overlooked and is a
yeah.
huge time saver potentially for some of our customers.
I will admit that I overlooked it for several years, and Luke Timmons was one who really brought it to my attention. Was like, this is what, with the kind of scope that you're working on, you absolutely have to use this. So
Shout out to Luke.
shout out to Luke.
I see social media touting Luke in trainings a lot. So Luke
Yeah,
is doing that
really
for a
good.
lot of folks. He does a great job. All
Yeah.
right. So now I want to jump back in and get to the type of restriction that you're dealing with, Alex, which is unique, I think, to California. I haven't seen anybody else doing the type of restriction that you're talking about, but this is what you're being asked to do. This is from your news feed on KPIX Channel 5. I was watching news feed and getting caught up on your restrictions. And they're asking you to categorically just reduce. They don't care how you do it. They just want to see you use less. And I'm going to present one strategy that uses WeatherTRAK, and then I want to hear how it's flawed, because I know that it is, and
Okay.
I want to hear kind of what your take on that is. All right, so let's do that real quick. So keep doing that. Sorry, get out of the PowerPoint, back to the WeatherTRAK. And we will do this quickly because I'm running thin on time. But if we go to our controller list page, and I am asked to just reduce all of my consumption by 15%, the way that I would do it on WeatherTRAK is I would first select the controllers that I want to manage, go in and find the right list, and just like in the program grouping, we select the controllers, and then we come over here to this advanced dropdown, and we say, create a station group. And again, it will save through. And instead of looking at it controller by controller, now we've got all the controllers that I selected spelled out station by station. And again, we can use the sorting tools to help refine this list. So if I wanted to just reduce all of my turf by 15%, I could easily use this this filter and filter out any stations that weren't that were just turf, right? Filter out any stations that were drip zones or had any other kind of plant material on there. We are going to say I want it for all of these stations. So again, I go and select the stations that I want in this group. We're going to call this one Alex, and we're going to call it demo. And we are going to save this station group. So I've created this station group for all of the stations on those controllers that I want to affect a 15% reduction. Once I have the station group that I want established, we can come in here and do what we call batch action. And the batch action will make the same change to all of the stations inside this station group. So if I am looking for a 15% reduction, the way that I would do it is I would come in here and I would say, let's batch action. And to all of these stations, I want to adjust all of those stations down by 15%. So it does take one note here, one thing that I want you to be careful about. In batch action, we have percent adjust in two different ways. We can apply the auto mode percent adjust, which if I put 15% on auto mode percent adjust, that would set all of those stations to a minus 15 adjustment. So across the board, the percent adjust would be 15%. But the hitch in that plan is that we often use that percent adjust to dial in stations. So many of our stations have already been adjusted. So we don't want to just turn them all to 15% because some might already be there, right? So what you're looking for in this is a setting called relative percent adjust. So if I select relative percent adjust 15%, it's going to apply a 15% reduction to every station from where it is today. So if you can see here, the first station is at a 0%. That would take it down to minus 15. But the second station that we see here is at a plus 15. So that's going to take it down to a 0% adjustment, right? So it's going to just change that setting by 15% from where it is to where you want it to be.
If you have your turf station dialed in at a plus 10% and you do, 15% adjust, not relative, then all of a sudden it's going to be like a 30% swing.
Right.
A much bigger reduction than you had intended.
And risk the landscape, right?
You'll have toasty turf, yeah.
Toasty turf. You don't want to take harsh action.
We're all aiming for, just a light toast to show that we're being good environmental stewards, but we don't want yellow grass per se.
Exactly
Not all.
Right. Got to protect the landscape. So now that I have done that on a blanket change across all of those stations, I want you to tell me why that's not a great idea.
Across all of your turf stations?
Across every station that I have. I just turned them all down by 15%, right? So, so it would effectively provide the 15% savings that your water district is looking for, right? That is the easy way to take where you're at and reduce by 15%. What is the danger in the real world about doing that?
Turf is the most sensitive thing that we have on the landscape in terms of appearance. So when you drop, turf water, if you've got it dialed in right and it's hot and windy like it has been around here with really high daily ETs, you can very quickly fry your turf. So I think I would target reductions, and we are targeting reductions in other less impacted areas, things that can handle that water reduction a little bit better. And then also, the AC just kicked on. I don't know if that's loud for you guys, but
you're fine.
Because turf is so tricky, if you've got zones that are, a partial sun, partial shade, keeping those dialed in can be really tough. So that would be one of the last things that I would want to adjust if I had it just right. I'm definitely targeting other areas first for those reductions.
Right. And I agree, like that blanket statement is not going to be right in all situations, but it is one way to quickly get done everything that you're being asked to do. So there's a lot of different solutions. Absolutely. I appreciate the perspective on that. Alex, I'm running long here, and so we have to get the question in. We have to have a standard question for all my first-time guests, and that is, what does WeatherTRAK save you?
So I thought about this and think it's pretty obvious. I can see the record heat waves in Canada, daily highs being broken all over the place. The whole Pacific Northwest is going crazy. The environment is really off kilter right now. Not having to send trucks to 150 sites to change controllers saves a lot of gas. I think if we put it all together, you can do something I can do something from my computer, from my desk, that may represent in the long run, when all all the distances are taken into account, saving something like a barrel of gasoline that we don't burn and put into the environment. So
Wow.
I
And at
think
$4 a gallon, that's no joke.
$4 and climbing. I mean, around here, you know, the Bay Area is an expensive place to live. That's going to come up. I think water prices are going to go the way everything else is going. So the more we can be efficient, the more we can stay off the road, and not be driving around in gas-powered vehicles, the better off we'll be. So.
Great answer. That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am going to finish up real quickly. I'm sorry, I'm running long today, guys. I appreciate you sticking with me. I want to tout all of the resources for support, always there for you. Excited about next week. Next week, we are going to do our second feature release party. So I will have my friends Bob Beers and Lance Elliott back to talk about. Bob is going to talk about the upcoming release of the WeatherTRAK 200 station 2-wire controller. So excited about that. And Lance is going to update us on the release of WeatherTRAK Mobile 3.5. It's still your WeatherTRAK Mobile 3, but continue to enhance the features there and give you more and more access to the things that you need while you're in the field. So excited to hear from both of those guys, and excited to bring that to you and show you what we're doing, show you what's going on behind the scenes and how we're keeping up.
That 200 station controller is going to be a real difference maker. That's great news.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're set to release it. They're doing all the testing and making sure it's in place now, but that should be out this month, I think.
Sorry.
So exciting stuff. Alex, thank you so much. I really enjoyed having you on, and I will start pestering you for your second appearance very soon.
I'm ready when you are, Ben. I appreciate your partnership and everyone at BrightView that I know has high opinions of WeatherTRAK. You guys really helped us prepare to weather this drought and save our customers water and money. So
likewise, we always appreciate the partnership. We appreciate from the top down, from Eric, who has been on the show a bunch of times, and the whole team, and the interaction and what we learn from you is so invaluable. It's just great. So thank you so much.
Anyone that doesn't know out there, I'll tell you the thing that sets WeatherTRAK apart is not just the people, but the support staff is head and shoulders above anyone else that's out there. They really do a fantastic job of taking care of us. So
that's awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Take care.